Stand by. The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up. Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
We got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that builds Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants are getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocados Diablias asked if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? Oh, that's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Stop Double Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't get to think of it.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people, and the Biden administration, over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing. Mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks that new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens. You cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs. but not convicted rapists. A German court gives woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate it when people say rapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible. He converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching. Quote, I was a follower of the sword. Now I'm a follower of the cross. Amazing. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black supporter, Trump supporter, would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to sic the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond companies. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted to.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think the kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is going to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether it's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yes, good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live on this first day of 2026. Yes, January 1st, 2026, the year that reminds us that sometimes you just got to go kick somebody in the hiney. Whatever that means. Anyway, it's a beautiful morning, light snow out. Oh, I just realized I got to change my background. Not in this one, but hang on a second, because that fireplace has got to go. Let me see if I can find something else to put there. Anyway, hope you're having a great morning. My morning is lovely. We didn't stay up too long. But for the first time in like 3 years, Lady Boomer and I actually toasted at midnight, and it was very nice. We went to a party last night at a friend's house early, like a pre-party, and then we always have a drink at this really lovely place in our town. And then we said, you know what, let's not go home. Let's go enjoy the night. So we went to our favorite little local watering hole, as many of you know, the Trail Stop Tavern, and stayed up till midnight, and then went home and chilled and then went to sleep. And so I'm not hungover because I had maybe I had 2 old fashions and a glass of champagne the whole night. So, but it was lovely. It was lovely, and I hope you guys had a great evening or day or whatever. I know it's like Mike's here, it's daytime, or early or afternoon, but whatever. I hope you're having a good morning, and hope if you're here, you're probably not having to work, and so that everything's good. So, Zoran Mandami was. I was going to change this video, wasn't I? Let's see. Let me see if I can change the background. Or do I even bother right now? Because it doesn't really matter, because you can't see it anyway. Let me see what I got here. I'm going to change the background to something a little more. Oh, I don't know. A little more. Let's see if that'll work. Oh yeah, that'll look good. Let's see if it fits my screen. Yeah. Okay, you'll see it in a minute. Anyway, let's start the show by saying hi to everybody, like I always do. I'm feeling a little NPR-ish today. Do you feel that? Do you feel that vibe? Or wait a minute, I guess I ought to whisper a little more. But because it's that day. Anyway, first in chat today, Somnambul Nation gets the bell. Yeah. Got here bright and early. Also, good morning to my other favorite Canadian Unacceptable Views. And we have our monthly appearance by the one and only Rabbit. That always cracks me up because it's Rabbit. I was going to say something mean, but I'm not going to. Also, good morning to JB. Jay Blizz is in the house. Avocados Diablo's here. Oh, you know what's weird? I just noticed something. Now, when I said Rabbit, I was wondering what happened to that. Also, good morning to, who else is here? Louis is here. What up, Louis? How you doing? Renee Mayette is here. Mike Savage, Blar. Good afternoon, sir. Also, good morning to Tall Person. Wow, welcome back. It's been a while. Since you've been in my chat. Hello, Blue-Eyed Scream. Good morning. And let's see. Maniac Man, I hope, is it working for you yet? Can you see the show? I'm just wondering. That kind of made me nervous. Maybe you just were here earlier. Also, let's see. Who else is here? I said Renee Man. Oh, Skello. Hey, what up, Midnight? How you doing? Our young friend who joins us quite often. And I don't see, I could have sworn there's a Tack Alpaca. Good morning. Oh, and there's the Pope Tyrannus III. The Blessed Lich, with today's Daily blessing, not from the Father, not from the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. The blessings of the Holy Ghost. May you be at peace with your neighbors, at war with your vices, and may this year find you a better man or woman than the last one. Oh my goodness. What a great inspiring message. Thank you, Tyre. I appreciate your daily messages. It's awesome. Also, good morning, Miss Wild Wolf is somewhere here. I don't see you in the chat, but I see someone saying hi to you, so I'm assuming you're here. Oh, Miss Wild Wolf said hi. That's what it is. Hello, Miss Wild Wolf. I see you back there. You're over there in the corner, just chilling, drinking your mushroom tea. Or mushroom coffee? It's mushroom coffee. Why did I call it mushroom tea? Whatever. It's that mushroom stuff. You're drinking that mushroom stuff over there. Also, good morning to, who else is here? Is that it? Really? What y'all got going on anyway? So anyway, okay, let's see. Maybe someone's farther down here. Oh, Scribe Light. What's up, Scribe? Dog Thrapple. What are you doing up so early on New Year's Day of all times? Anyway, I'm glad you're here, though. Good morning, brother. Nice to have you. It's been a minute. Let's see. Who else? What are you... Okay, you're yelling at me there again. Midnight. Happy New Year. Marty! Happy New Year to you, too, dear. Happy New Year. Oh, Anna Lynn's in the house. Good morning, Stefania. What's up? Nice to have you. And I think that's about everyone. Glad to catch one. I'm glad you catch one, too, my friend. Tall person. Thank you. All right. Renee Mann says, I stayed up awake with my youngest 9 and FaceTime my eldest who lives upstate New York 22 to count down and watch the ball drop. Oh yeah, that's, you know what, I want to find out what you did in New Year's. I'm gonna put a Q&A for that. I want a separate Q&A so I can find you. Here we go. All right, here's the start a Q&A. What did you do last night? Don't get too detailed now. I don't want to hear none of that freaky deaky stuff. But anyway, for New Year's Eve / ringing in 2026. There, we'll put that as a Q&A because I want to know. I'd like to know what y'all did. So there it is up there now. Also, if you haven't shared the stream, you can do that still, even though I'm gonna take down that little stream prompt. Have you shared the stream? Let's get rid of that. Unpin the message. There we go. All right. So yeah, I'd love to know here what you did for New Year's. Like I said, Lady Boomer and I went to a early party from like 5 to 8, and then we went to have a drink with we made some new friends at the party, and they happen to live in our town. And so we said, oh, well, what are you guys doing? And they're going to this bar. I was like, are you kidding? That's where we're going. And so that was kind of fun, and I got to hang out with them a little bit. And then again, we went to our favorite watering hole, ran into a few friends that go there on the regular, and rang in New Year's, and then came home and slept like a motherfucker because I was tired. I worked early that morning. I'm not used to staying up till midnight, so that's what it is. So all right, let's get into the show because there is some news stuff today. There's stuff trending. I'm surprised how much news there is. But first, by the way, Avocados Diabli has dropped a couple small bullets in the tip jar that makes you the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, AD. The first one says, a little hack for New Year's resolutions. Resolve the opposite of what you actually want. Example, want to beat your wife less? Resolve to beat her as much or more than before, so when you fail, you succeed. Am I the superstar sponsor of the year? You know, that I'm reading that and I'm going, I don't think so. I mean, you might be, well, okay, yeah, I'm I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to that. Thank you, though. I appreciate this. You are the awesomest of of writing things that make me go, what the fuck did I just read? And then the second one says, also going from years ending in 5 to ending in 6 is the best. It is super easy to turn a 5 into 6 when you screw up dating something. Hey, that's the truth. That's bell-worthy right there. Because, you mess up, you go, oh, you actually wrote 2025. Oh, here, just close that little circle and make it look like you meant to do that. So, yeah, there you go. That's some major wisdom from Avocatus Diabli. Good morning, John Arnott. Nice to have you here. Oh, did someone else show up? That was it. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Oh, AD, you're the awesomest. All right, let's get into the regular show here. Oh shoot, I gotta fix that. Good Lord. All right. Oh, and also thanks to people who have shared the show. Let me. What the hell did I do here? God, I hate this thing. I was on the wrong tab. I'm like, what the hell? Thanks to people who shared the show already, including, of course, Somnambul Nation, who always tweets out the show faster than I do. And I've already reposted that. And then I got this little ditty. We got Calvin up here because two for Thursday. Happy New Year. So this one, if the New Year's resolution if the New Year requires resolutions, I say it's up to everyone else, not me. I don't need to improve. Everyone else does. I can roll with that. And then we got the Carmen. Is that Carmen San Diego getting a little saucy there for New Year's Eve? I don't know. I'm not really sure about Carmen San Diego, but anyway, there. So thank you, Somnambul Nation. And then also, let's see, Skookum. This is the Ghostbusters things. Wait, your New Year's resolution has been decided. Hang a second. So in my post, my Let's Go GIF, I used the Ghostbusters coming out to save New York, which might need some saving pretty soon. That was the hint there. Does it, if you're new? Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. Thank you for Skookums for replying. Also, we got, now this is a helpful guide. And I saw you send me this a couple days ago, JB. Replying to this, thank you for replying. Let's smell colors. And this is the scent of colors. I get all those, if it's, if colors were smells or something like that. Anyway, here's the scent of colors. This is going to help me on Friday. I might have to use this on Fridays because I always get those questions. If this were a color, what would it smell like or something? I don't know how you word it. So here we go. Orange is, oh, good God. The scent of colors, red, metallic, blood, rust, raw meat. Orange, warm, smoky, sweet armpit. Ew. Science fact, the human armpit can produce as much odor causing bacteria as a goat's butt. Tangy. Blue, fresh, ozone, watery, fishy. Science fact, spoiled egg smell caused by hydrogen sulfide. Your farts contain a bit of that too. Fantastic. White, sterile, bleach, burning hair. Bleach kills bacteria chemically the way fire does. Bleach is a creepy water fire. Black, char, smoke, graveyard. Charred food smells burnt because you're literally inhaling carbon. This is very appetizing. Gray, dust, old socks, grandma's attic. Dust is mostly dead skin and tiny dust mite poop. Good. Cover everything with plastic. Brown, 952 of the smell of poop is the bacteria. Farts use this one at parties. Science fact, anaerobic bacteria, swamp muck enjoy releasing methane, which is slightly less flammable than fart gas. And let's see, green, vegetal, mold, swamp, bad cheese, anaerobic bacteria, and swamp muck enjoy releasing methane, which is slightly more flammable than fart gas. Oh, fantastic. And then finally, yellow, acidic, sour, musty, egg fart. And then the worst is mold, bile, rotten garbage. Okay, this is a very good guide. And we'll use it on things that I think are disgusting. So there you go. Thank you, JB, for that bit of wisdom. Also, we got our daily Ric Flair. There he goes, doing his little the Ric Flair walk. And here's a good one from Renee Mayette. Happy New Year. Got the chainsaw out. Why did the chainsaw blow a gasket though? What the hell happened there? What did he do? How did that? What happened? Anybody know what's happening there? Well, I don't know. And then thank you, Reaction Puerto Rico. A little stayed in the Ghostbuster theme. The Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man, and the people who retweeting the stream. Reaction Puerto Rico, Ty Alexander, Somnable Nation, and JB. Thank you for doing that. Oh, and here's another one. Oh, what? Okay, I got. This is. Let's see. Let me see 7 seconds here from Reaction Puerto Rico. Oh no, it's not 7. It's 28 seconds. What are you reacting to? I was trying to figure out what this was. Oh, this is reacting to the show. Okay, let's. Is that Unk? Oh, that's not Unk. I thought that was Unk. Okay, let me see what this. Okay, what did you send me? Let's find out what Reaction Puerto Rico sent me here. Let's go full screen here. Here we go.
But you have some people who have like said that, you know, the Nigerian government is being bullied to collaborate with the United States because they feel like they have no other option. And, you know, on a good day, I will not be okay with one country bullying the other. But when it has to do with Nigeria and dealing with this Islamic terrorism that is going on, I'm like, out of these people, like bully the hell out of, if bully them and bully them well. You know, people are always like, Trump is a bully. I'm like, yeah, you know what? In other circumstances, I will hate bullies, but this is the one bully that I love. So keep bullying them. Keep bullying these smaller countries. This is where your bullying is much needed. So yeah,
right.
Well, you have some.
Okay, so that's some Nigerians reacting to Donald Trump dropping some missiles on the terrorists in Nigeria that are out there killing Christians everywhere. So doesn't seem too upset about it. Just Trump's a bully, but sometimes you got to bully the hell out of somebody. So there you go. All right, thank you everybody for reposting the show. Oh, Miss Wildwolf too. PDawgKnight. Oh no, what is our favorite teacher up to now? Okay, and there's here. You got to see this because what are these things called? The minions. The minions, not the minions like Tires Minions, but the actual minions from the movie Minions. Doing a little disco dance in there. All right, let's get into the show. Things trending right now. The biggest one, of course, is Happy New Year, or Good Morning and Happy New Year, which I say to you. Good morning and Happy New Year to you, which is how I started the show. I'm glad you all are here, and so is the people who made these posts. Here's one. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. Great message for the Christian crowd, and even for those who are not the Christian crowd. Here we go. Good morning. We made it. 1st of January, manifesting a month filled with blessings, growth, prosperity, happiness, and better opportunities. We made it through what most never saw, carrying into the new year, the lessons and leaving the weight behind, taking the healing and the growth into January. Happy first day of the year. That's a very nice message. Now, how far can I scroll on this? Okay. There's no exposed body parts. This one's Sassy Chick. From Sassy Chick. Good morning and Happy New Year. I've lived in multiple states and few countries so far during my lifetime, and not once have I arrived in a new state or country did they give me free room and board, free health care, free monthly funds deposited in my bank account. So why is it when someone wants to come to our country, we automatically give them all this free stuff, in many cases for life, and for some strange reason they become Democrats? Wait a minute, you just answered your own question. These freebies must stop, and if you come if you come to our country, you should not be able to become an American citizen for 5 years. And in that time, if you commit a crime or you can't support yourself, you will get deported. Let's start taking the best people that will be proud of America, start cleaning up our schools with English only, and driver's licenses will only be taken in English. And if you don't like this, well, don't come. Trump is working on this and has already banned countries from coming in, and more is on the way. Enjoy this. Have fun. Be safe. I just was doing the meme thing. By the way, today's coffee is brought to you by Grandpa, established 2022. My granddaughter's going to be 4 years old this year. Holy shit. Time flies. And the second one's going to be 2 this year. And the third one, well, it's going to be born this year. We're excited. What a great year. We're excited. All right. Okay, and then there's a gingerbread. There's a bunch of others, but here. Thank you, Sarah Sizzle. Sarah Sizzle says Happy New Year. And here's a Happy New Year. You know what? Let me just do something real quick. I'm going to see how, because I don't want to accidentally show some things and whatever on screen. Okay, this is pretty good. No body parts all the way down in this thing. So That's good. Oh, well, close. No, nope. She's in a little silk jacket. She's okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. She's okay. All right, no problem there. Good. All right. So for once, it isn't just a bunch of people trying to show what they do in their private lives. There's also the happy 2026. There's nothing exciting about this. Pretty much the same stuff. Oh, what's this one? Oh, good Lord. You know, look, I appreciate many things that this president's doing, but he's not the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's just another president. And, you know, a direct effect to my life. Well, maybe the price of gas is, you know, helpful. That's certainly helpful. But, is this actually Sebastian Gorka? The most historic turnaround in modern political history. America was being dismantled and on life support. In less than a year, President Donald Trump has turned it all around. Now we have the hottest nation in the world. Happy 2026, America. MAGA White House. Okay. Was that a pretty good Sebastian Gorka? Good morning, Select Boy. Yeah, Happy New Year. Boy. So anyway, was that a pretty good Sebastian Gorka? Did anyone know, if you know who Sebastian Gorka is? That's probably as close as I can get. Pretty sure most equatorial nations are hotter. Yes, you are so literal. That was not a good Sebastian Gorka? Okay, I don't know. It was close enough. I have to listen to him to do him properly. That was weird. I shouldn't have said it that way. Anyway, all right. So anyway, now let's get into some other stuff that's trending, like the top stories that popped up on X when I went into the tab. And it doesn't mean they're the top stories in the world. It just happens to be the one that they decide to feature. Hello, Divine Petulance. That's a new name. And again, I'm only seeing @ names instead of the name you want to be called, because for some reason YouTube made it so that I can't see just the name you want to be called. It's like they're giving you a dead name sometimes, because sometimes you don't want to be called by that name, right? So anyway, apparently X thinks that this is important. Tony Dokapil, I don't know how to say his name, has taken the solo helm at CBS Evening News, a new head anchor, so to speak. The 44-year-old CBS veteran replaces co-anchors John Dickerson and Maurice Dubois, whose pairing followed Norah O'Donnell's 2025 exit and struggled with ratings. Dokapil promises to prioritize everyday Americans over advocates, advertisers, or politicians to rebuild trust in journalism. Under new editor-in-chief Barry Weiss, he launched Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with the 10-city Live from America tour starting at his Cincinnati boyhood home, saying, "Don't just trust me, make me earn it." Well, I like that message. I like that message, Tony. Here's Tony telling you what he's all about. And maybe it'll just be the same thing I just read, but who cares? Let's just play it anyway.
On too many stories, the press has missed the story because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites.
Or politicians.
And not enough on you.
We are Democratic talking points.
And I know this because at certain points, I have been you. I have felt this way too. I felt like what I was seeing...
Wait a minute. Dookie pill? That's not really how you say it, though. Like a laxative? Anyway, here we go.
And hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life. And that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked. So here's my promise to you.
Okay,
today and every time you see me in
Tony.
this chair, you come first. Not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests. And yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS.
Let me just stop right there. Look, I appreciate the sentiment, and maybe you are trying your best to do that, Tony, but you're a script reader, dude. You're a script reader. You're reading what they put in front of you on the teleprompter. I want to believe you, and I know that Barry Weiss wants to change things in network news, especially now that she's the head of CBS News. And I got a feeling that, first of all, the people on the left are going to be mad if they don't stick to narratives that the left approve of. We'll see how it goes, Tony.
I report for you on too many stories.
I read a teleprompter for you. We'll see how it goes. Who knows? So anyway, wait, what's this? He kind of looks like the dude from Friends. New guy starts Monday. Join us January 5th at 6:30 p.m. for the news, CBS News. Okay. And wait a minute. Oh, wait, is this him trying to figure out if anyone knows who the hell he is? Let's see what this one is. Let's see what they do here. If I get a copyright thing for this, I'm going to be pissed. You want people to know that this person, I almost said asshole, is going to be your new news guy?
How do you say this name?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's what I was just asking. I wanted to know. How do you say his name? Let's see if he tells us.
I had no idea.
Oh, did he say it on the other one? I don't know. Hang on.
Dokupil.
Dakupil. Not bad. You got the syllables right.
Dokupil.
Decopel, close. I'm Tony Decopel. I work for...
Tony Decopel. Okay, that's how you say his name. Whatever. Who cares? All right. Another one that was up here. Apparently, Elon Musk recalls tax payment overwhelming the IRS system amid a deficit debate. So, and here's how they summarize it. The anecdote field discussion on whether taxing billionaires more could close the $1.8 trillion U.S. federal deficit from fiscal year 2025. The post showed seizing stock from the 6 richest Americans worth around $1.9 trillion, including Musk at $623 billion, would cover just 1 year. Critics note the top 1% already pay 40.4% of federal income taxes, with many arguing spending cuts beat higher taxes on the wealthy. Which, yeah, we got to stop spending so much fucking money. Look, if this whole thing about wealth tax, if you do a wealth tax, right, that means people who are, multi-billionaires on paper would have to liquidate assets, which would usually forces the assets to lose their value, and then they also are forced to close things when they have to sell those assets. The idea that you tax on what they're worth. What if all of a sudden, by the way, so you have this wealth tax, right? And if their net worth goes down, like say the stock market crashes, are you going to have to give them a refund on their wealth tax? That would even be worse. But anyway, thank you, Reaction, Puerto Rico. What are you wishing? Drop a deuce in the tip jar on Super Chat. Thank you very much. Reaction Puerto Rico says, what are you wishing Tim Walz this year? It's funny because we talked, you mentioned that the other day. Or what would you like to say to Tim Walz? He said the other day. And I was thinking, first of all, I have just an inkling of a suspicious feeling that a large portion of Walz's campaign cash may have come from fraudsters. Now, we already know that Keith Ellison was in a meeting. We saw him talking to this group of Somali businessmen. And so, look, by the way, I don't want to demonize all Somalians, and I know it comes off that way when I say this. But since such a large portion of the current fraud that we're finding in Minnesota comes from that community, I have to use the term. They always. It's so funny because so many people want to focus on that one, the white woman who was part of that Feeding Our Futures, right? But she was the only one. It was her and like 70 Somalis that were arrested in that thing. And they say, well, she was the ringleader. Okay, fine. Fuck her too. I don't care. She can sit her ass in jail and, have some nice, toothpicks stuck up her fingernails for all I care. Anyway, what am I wishing for Tim Walz this year? I'm just wishing for whatever truth that needs to come out, comes out. And I'm hoping that he does not get reelected. That's about all I can wish. If there's something comes out that he was taking cash on the table or something, then maybe he should go to jail too. But I don't necessarily think that's the case. But he protests an awful lot. And the one person, again, I mentioned this yesterday. The one person who doesn't seem to be protesting at all, which is very curious, is Amy Klobuchar. And I'm just wondering if she's afraid to open her mouth for people to start investigating her. Because she hasn't said a word. I've been going through her I went through her Twitter feed for about 20 minutes yesterday, just scrolling and see if she mentioned anything about anything going on in Minnesota right now. Not a peep. Good morning, Miss Wildwolf. I see you. Not a peep. So from our politicians in Minnesota, it's going to be interesting to see where, because we know a lot of the cash is going to Somalia. People are taking suitcases of cash to Somalia. But we also know that those Somalians are paying a lot of money to politicians' campaigns. So that's what I want to see. That's what I want to find out. Good morning, Lord Stanhope, too. I see you popping in. Good to have you here. All right, so here we go. So anyway, he said, I paid so much in taxes 1 year that it broke the IRS computer. Actually, too many digits. They had to update the software to get it processed. Yeah, because he didn't do like a single time $11 billion tax payment or something like that a couple years ago. But here's the thing. So the rich, they always think, oh, the rich need to pay their fair share. Well, the rich actually already pay plenty of their fair share of taxes. And this, I can't really see this. Top 0.1% pay 25%. This is the top 5% of taxpayers right here. Pay about 68% of the taxes. Bottom 90 to 95% pay 10%. Or the 90 to 95, bottom 90 to 95 pay 10.4%. Bottom 80 to 90%, 13.9%. Bottom 50 to 80%, 8.6%. So the bottom 95% of taxpayers pay about 33% of the taxes. The top 5% pay 67% of the taxes. So, I always ask, anytime I hear someone say, these billionaires, these millionaires, well, they don't say millionaires anymore because then they'd have to include Bernie Sanders. But it's like, when they say they need to pay their fair share, what's their fair share? What is it? How do you determine what their fair share is? Should they pay the same, percentage of the taxes as everybody else? Well, they pay more of the taxes than everybody else. They pay more taxes than the top 95% of people who pay taxes. The 5% pay more, almost twice as much in taxes. Now, someone says, well, they are worth 28,000 times more than them. Yeah, worth isn't income. And they still pay, but they still more. What is their fair share? No one can ever define that for me. It always confuses me. So, all right, so that's trending. And then also, a lot of stuff about the daycares in Minneapolis. There's competing narratives. The lefts are saying, oh, they lied. There's people in these daycares. There's people who did it. But this is a new one too. Unverified claim links Minneapolis daycare manager to Mayor Frey's victory video. So the guy who came out at the Leering Center, they have some video they think is him in Minneapolis Mayor Frey's victory campaign. Ibrahim Ali manages the Quality Leering Center learning. Oh, they did change the name, but they kind of did it shitty. Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis, a Somali-run daycare facing scrutiny after youth predict Shirley's video showed an empty and questioned its receipts of millions of child care funds. Ali denies any fraud, explaining the footage was taken outside operating hours when 50 to 80 children typically attend. Okay, first of all, one of the things that they keep saying is, well, they make so many different excuses that are contradictory, right? One of the first ones I had heard that, well, Nick Shirley didn't go to the front door. The front door is the restaurant around the corner. Like kids bringing their kids into daycare through the front door, right? Then the others was, no, they're only open from 2 o'clock till 10 p.m. Well, but they're not licensed to be open 2 o'clock to 10 p.m. because they have a daytime license. In Minnesota, you have a day program license, which you're allowed to operate from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay. If you want to have daycare beyond 6 p.m. in Minnesota, you have to get a night care license. Okay. And, you know, when they showed the license, everyone keeps showing his license, and it would say what they're licensed for. And that specifically says daytime program. And if he had night care license, it would have a comma, night care. Night care is a completely different thing, because if you have night care, that any time that kids would be asleep, even if they're only open until 10, you would have to have equipment, beds for every one of those kids that are there during night care, because if they're any time that's sleeping hours. So this guy said that is, their website said 6 to 6, didn't it? I think it did. But anyway, so and they said, oh, well, this sheet of paper on here shows the hours, and that was clearly there when Nick Shirley was there. The sheet of paper was just a typed out piece of paper that was in one of those like plastic sleeves that you could just change the sleeve anytime. So, the hours were posted. It was 2 to 10. Well, you're not licensed for 2 to 10. Also, the Minnesota daycare commissioner, the same day they interviewed that guy and showing people coming into the building, said that it was closed. It had been closed a week earlier. So there's so many contradicting stories, it's hard to tell. But anyway, this guy, this manager that came out and interviewed, said, oh, he was here when we weren't not during regular hours. Well, apparently here, I'll show you the video. Here's the video that kind of spawned this controversy. Okay, here we go.
Am I going crazy, or is this the same guy? Is the manager of the infamous Learning Center in Minneapolis also one of the guys that was dancing in the back of Mayor Jacob Frey's election victory video? The one that went super viral where he thanks his constituents in Somali for re-electing him last month?
Kind of looks like him a little bit. I think she's going to show more here.
Abraham Ali claims to be the manager of the Quality Learning Center and says that there is no fraud going on whatsoever there. He very well may just have a doppelganger who happens to look just like him that lives in the very same city he lives in. Or he could be one of the Somali community leaders who is working with local electeds to keep some of these fraud schemes going. But that would just be crazy, right? I could be totally wrong to assume this, but he's got a very unique face and hairline.
Put out a certain message about a certain group.
I mean, he looks so similar to this guy going...
Yeah, it does look like him. Okay, so it does look like him. So that's the controversy that's coming up. A lot of people are pointing this out. Just in, Somali Learning Center manager also reportedly spotted at Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey's election victory video. Frey was most likely complicit in the Somali fraud. Okay, let's not assume that. Let's not assume that. I would say that Jacob Frey may have been unknowingly been getting campaign cash from Somalis, which, I mean, knowingly getting campaign cash from Somalis, but not knowing that they were doing fraudulent things. But it's certainly, when you're getting campaign cash from a community, you tend to try to be friendly with that community. And Jacob Frey, I mean, literally is on his knees for that community and speaking their language and probably, taking down a few, well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. That's disgusting, first of all. But anyway, so let's see. Oh, is there another one? Oh, wait a minute. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey dancing and waving a Somali flag, or is it a Minnesota flag? No, that's not the new stupid Minnesota flag that looks like it's a Somali flag. This is, there's music on that. But yeah, look at this idiot. Look at this idiot. What the fuck is he doing? What the hell is he doing? God, he's a piece of work. Just a pandering piece of shit. I don't get it. So anyway, that's interesting. Next one, as we already talked about, Health and Human Services has frozen Minnesota child care funds over fraud allegations. YouTuber Nick Shirley's footage of the vacant Somali-owned centers in Minnesota followed similar clips from Columbus, Ohio, prompting the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to freeze federal child care payments in Minnesota and roll out a nationwide verification rules like receipts and photos past Minnesota fraud cases, including the $100 million stolen by schemes with fake enrollments, often tied to Somali defendants. Not always, but often. Added context to the claims of empty facilities and suspicious activities. Ohio officials defend their strict attendance-based payments and audits, while providers note visits happen during off hours and call for calm amid reports of threats and vandalism. So I'm not shocked that perhaps there's been threats, because there's a lot of assholes out there who'd be dumb enough to go and threaten these people, right? Don't do that shit. That's dumb. But you can put pressure on politicians to investigate and get get it fixed. Now, oh, by the way, let's see. Hey, Ohio, what started as a stop at First Choice Child Care LLC ended in an assault at Bright Futures Daycare LLC. A police report has been filed with the Columbus Police. These are the people entrusted to take care of Ohio's children. We deserve answers. I'm not familiar with this. So anyway, there's finding in other states. They're finding some questionable daycares. Look, if you try it in one city, it works. Why not try in another city? It works. Isn't that how the mafia worked? The mob, they started doing shit in New York and then Chicago, and they moved to Las Vegas. So it's like, it's not like if you find a way to how should I put this? If you find a way how to finesse the system in one place, why not try it in other places? Because again, what is it? Was half the economy of Somalia is made by American dollars? So I haven't watched this one. In case you know the reason to join the tax revolt taking place in America, 20 daycares in Ohio were started on the exact same day and managed to steal over $14 million in this year alone. Okay, I'm going to see what this guy says. I haven't seen the Ohio one yet. I've seen the Washington State and Minnesota so far. This is in Ohio.
As if you already didn't have a good enough reason to join the tax revolt that's taking place in America right now, because I don't know one person that's paying taxes after all this shit. But let me just add a little bit of fuel to the fire, shall we? Let's jump over here into this tweet from Tony Lane. He goes by @TonyLaneNV over on X. And he says, wow, read this carefully. Over 40 daycare centers reportedly opened in Columbus, Ohio on the same day.
Now, is it possible that 40 legitimate daycares open on the same day? It's possible. Say that 40 people decide to open a home daycare. It's possible. Possible. Is it likely? Who knows? And also, we're wondering, are these daycare centers, or are these just like home daycares? Because, lots of people, they're working. We opened a home daycare on one day in 1995. We opened a home daycare in our house. We were licensed for up to 6 kids, 7 or 8 kids. We had 6. It's possible. Yes, Ms. Wildlife, I see the thing about the DM. I got you. I'll get to it in a minute. I hope it better be good. It's something spicy. I'm just serious. We gotta see that. Anyway, let me finish this.
And they were all linked to the same inactive shell entity, and together.
Oh, now wait a minute. All linked to the same inactive shell entity. Oh, okay, then that's different.
More than $14 million in taxpayer-funded subsidies in a single year. Same paperwork, same structure, same funding stream. No matter where you land politically, this raises serious questions. How was this approved? Who signed off? Where was the oversight? If this is accurate, it's not a small loophole. It's a systemic failure. It is this fraud or a broken system being exploited? Source, right.
I'd say a broken system being exploited and perhaps fraud. Look, let me check this. Let me look at this DM real quick. If it's on topic. Oops, wait. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Here it is. God, my computer's messed up. Give me a second here. Those are the same thing. Oh, true. That's true. Let's go here.
Watch this. So guys, this is absolutely mind-blowing. So I was watching the most recent video by Nick Shirley exposing these daycare centers. Now, they're going daycare to daycare, and the next one that they go to is called Sweet Angel Childcare. This is where they show up to. And this is the business right here. Sweet Angel Childcare in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, listen to where this phone number goes to when you call
I've
this
seen this
childcare
one.
center. Just wait for it.
Thank you for contacting the office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Becky Flanagan. Our office is located at 130 State Capitol at 75 Reverend.
It goes to Governor Tim Walz's office. Why is a child care center directly going to the office of the governor? If this is not a direct link to Tim Walz and these fraudulent child care centers, I don't know what else is.
Watch this.
Okay. So guys, this is...
Okay, I'm going to disagree there. I am going to disagree that it's a direct link. Okay. It could be a direct link, but I cannot conclude. They just put a number. They put the governor's office phone number in there. Now, what, you know, but is it worth investigating? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Unless someone made the site with that number on purpose. That's a possibility too. That's absolutely a possibility too. It could be someone punking the governor on this too. So I can't assume that. Now, let me see. Where did he get the...
This is absolutely mind-blowing. So,
hang on a second.
Now, listen to...
So, okay, they looked it up on maps in, looks like an iPhone here. And so that's the number they got. Let me what is it called? Sweet Angel. Let me see if I can find this. Sweet Angel Childcare. Sweet. Sweet Angel Childcare. Let's search. Let's see if this is the same one. This is Childcare Agency. It looks like it's gone. It's no longer on the maps. So I'm not... It does not show up here. Oh, wait, let's try it this way. I put childcare as 2 words. Let's see if that does anything different. So I get nothing. I get nothing. So I don't know. Still, is it just someone messing with is someone messing with Tim Walz or what? So that's not conclusive, but it is very interesting though. It's very interesting. So here, let me go back. What the hell did I do there? Oh, let me go back to where I was. There we go. So, but anyway, in Ohio, they're seeing it. They're seeing it in the state of Washington. There's in Boston, there's 2,000 daycares in like a square, in like a very small section of the town. And apparently now it says now in Columbus they're saying that Somalis are assaulting people at questioning daycares. Here's the problem with this now, because great that Nick Shirley did this. I think people got to be wary of some places they go. I know the dude talked about, worry about stand your ground laws, that guy from Politico. But in some states, he may be correct. Here's this video about what happened in Ohio.
Whoa. You can't just grab my cell phone.
The First Choice Childcare LLC.
Look at this. Right there.
With a Cassim Brothers semi-truck in the parking lot.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
That's what you want to see when you're dropping your kid off for childcare, is a semi-truck.
Oh, there's no number with it now? I can't find it.
See if we can...
Now, and look, if you have to ring the bell to get in, I'm not even a problem with that. I'm not even a problem with... I don't understand the blacked out windows, maybe just so no one can look in and see that their kid's there. But, I don't want people to be able to go creep on kids in daycares. But I've had my kids in daycare. I've had run a daycare. I've had, I volunteered at my kids' preschool. There were never blacked out windows. There was a place you walked in and you talked to people, and if you wanted information, you get that. But the idea that all of these daycares have they should all have blacked out windows. You should never be able to look in. That's nonsense. You go to any other, you go to KinderCare, you go to any of the Montessori schools around here, they don't all have blacked out windows, so don't give me that excuse.
Locked.
I can understand maybe if it's locked, but still, most daycares have reception areas.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, it
they
should be locked, yeah.
Most daycares I've been to, they are locked.
Legally, they should be, you would
Yeah.
think. Protect the kids.
Kids love to climb on semis. That's so funny.
Security cameras. Notice the trend at all these locations.
By the way, the whole thing, there's one center that was talking about how they had video surveillance showing people dropping people off at the daycares. About 10 years ago in the Twin Cities, there was a daycare being investigated for this exactly same thing, right? And they had surveillance video of the kids entering the school, but one of the news stations went out and began doing secret filming from a place far away. And what they would do is they would have parents bring people into the school, and then they would immediately leave. Like they show them, the people would be taking kids in, and then they'd leave, so that if someone asked for proof of people coming into the daycare, they would have surveillance video of people entering the daycare. They would never show them leaving, but they'd had them on video coming to school, proving that they had people coming into the school. So it's kind of wild.
Camera up there, camera over there.
And that's one of the that's one of the things they do to make sure that they can say, "Oh yes, we have kids coming into the school."
I'm ringing the doorbell. I don't think I hear anybody in there though.
There's no cars in the parking lot, so.
They're open 7 days a week though, and there's no signage to say
Say it's closed,
today.
so there's. And then this is kind of the neighborhood you're looking at. Next door. Oh, we have another daycare center right next door. Bright Futures.
Well, they have lights on at least.
So I guess we can just. Oops.
And there's the surveillance cameras. You can see it.
They must have started putting these private
Private property, no trespassing.
At least there's cars in the lot. Maybe they have some people working there. Well, not that part of the lot. They walk through between the cars.
This one also has camera up there.
It's interesting that they've boarded all of this up too, so you can't
You
even
can't see
through
inside at all
it.
in
And
any
I've
of
been to tons
these.
of daycares where at least this is open, so you can see.
They have a nice
wait for
lobby
somebody.
entry, yeah.
Correct. Hi, I was wondering, are you open today? Do you have any paperwork? I just wanted to look up your enrollment for a 3-year-old. My name is Mehek.
This is fascinating. That's a dumpster. Oh, the dumpster's also a playground? Well, there you go. She's not getting any cooperation here.
I'm sorry? Am I what? You're going to send somebody? No.
You know, the other funny thing is,
Okay.
most
Okay,
daycares you go
they
to,
wanna-
even if the doors are shut or whatever, you would hear kids. Kids are not silent. Kids are noisy. You would hear kids.
To stop recording for Okay, that's fine.
Price after we fill the application?
So how much does it cost?
I don't understand.
What is it?
Like, what's
Just
the
asking
weekly
how much it
rate?
costs to go to daycare here.
Thank you.
There's lots of yelling.
Is it? So how much does it cost? You can't just grab my cell phone.
Okay, well, yeah, she just doesn't want to be filmed or whatever. I don't care. Anyway, so that's that. And then the other one here. Oh, did you hear about this? This is sad. I can't hear myself. There we go. This is sad. This is also in the news. Apparently, there's a New Year's fire destroys Amsterdam's Vondelkerk Tower. It's a church, a neo-Gothic church near Vondelpark. The blaze ripped through the 1880 neo-Gothic church near Vondelpark shortly after midnight on New Year's Day, destroying its iconic tower and leaving much of the structure in ruins. Firefighters fought for hours amid fireworks thrown at them. What? Fireworks were being thrown at them? Controlling the fire by morning with no injuries at the site, though nearby residents were briefly evacuated. Built by Pierre Kuipers, the former Catholic Church had hosted cultural events. Officials called the damage severe, but restoration experts see hope, like Notre Dame's revival. The cause is under investigation amid chaotic New Year's violence, as nationwide firework ban looms later in 2026. So here's, let's see, different people are reporting on this. Here's it is. Another iconic European church burned to the ground overnight, this time in Amsterdam. The Vondelkerk, which sits just next to the Dutch capital's famous Vondelpark, was destroyed as invader gangs ran wild with fireworks. Had enough of them yet? Trying to understand here. So the firefighters were being attacked with fireworks while they were fighting this fire. Breaking: youth Islamist gangs are launching fireworks at police in Amsterdam tonight. So this is looks like they're shooting Roman candles at the police. You know, I don't, when I see stuff like that, you don't want people to be ended, but boy, would just a barrage of rubber bullets do a trick. Oh my God, that is just incredible. Good morning, by the way, Special Can Asset on the honorable mention list of my favorite Canadians, and also Unacceptable Views, my other favorite Canadian. So there you go. So Amsterdam migrants. Now this is we do not. Okay, this is the other thing. When people report on this, we don't know who set the fire yet. They haven't claimed it. This person says, last night in Amsterdam, migrants set fire to one of the oldest cathedrals in Holland. It burned to the ground and its spire collapsed. In Europe, dozens of churches have burned down in 2025. Approximately 300 church arson attacks have been recorded since 2020. So in the last 5 years, there's been over 300 arson attacks on churches. And that's a problem. Do they know for a fact that that's why? Maybe not factually. Does it seem like it's maybe possible? Here's a suggested community note. No evidence is suggested that this was a deliberate arson attack, nor do any facts link this incident to migrants, except for the ones that were shooting fireworks at the police. So here it is in the Independent. Historic church no longer salvageable. Okay, this is the updated from this time. Firefighters battled significant blaze at the historic Vondelkerk Church in central Amsterdam. The Vondelkerk, originally consecrated in 1880, had been converted to a multi-use public building after falling into disrepair and being sold in 1977. Emergency service confirmed the building was no longer salvageable and warned that the whole church may collapse due to its fire's intensity. Footage depicted the scale of the fire, which with crews utilizing turntable ladders in an attempt to extinguish the flames from height. The cause of the fire has not been yet identified. No injuries reported. But the report that that firefighters are trying to salvage this fire while having fireworks shot at them probably isn't a good sign. I'm not getting. Let's see how the BBC reports on it. See if they have anything else. Yeah, police in the Netherlands were pelted with fireworks and faced an unprecedented amount of violence on New Year's Eve. Oh, this is the New Year's violence. The 19th century church in Amsterdam was engulfed by fire in the early hours of New Year's Day. Although the cause of the blaze is yet unknown, the Vollenkerk, blah, blah, blah. Elsewhere in the Netherlands, a 17-year-old boy and a 38-year-old man were killed in fireworks incidents. In Bielefeld, Germany, local police said 2 18-year-olds died after setting off homemade fireworks. The head of the Dutch police union, Nien Kuman, said she had been pelted by fireworks and other explosives on her shift in Amsterdam. The amount of violence was unprecedented. Reports of attacks against police and firefighters were widespread across the country. Petrol bombs were thrown at police in the southern city of Breda. In Rotterdam, the city's eye hospital said it had treated 14 patients, including 10 minors for eye injuries. 2 received surgery. A 17-year-old boy from Nijmegen and a 13-year-old man from Alsmeer were killed in fireworks incidents, local media reported. In Amsterdam, and then the tower. So, what the fuck's going on in Amsterdam? Good Lord. So, there you go. Also in the news, Jack Smith is trending this morning. Now, I don't know why. Hello, Woo. What's up, my dear friend from high school? Now What Studios in the house? Nice to have you. Praying 2026 is peaceful and prosperous for you and yours. Well, thank you. And obviously my same to you. I told you someone was looking for a kosher restaurant in the Twin Cities. I'm like, oh, go to Basil. They have great pizza. Oh, I got to come there. I got to check out the sushi sometime. And I haven't had sushi at Basil yet, but I've had the pizza, and their pizza is awesome. Anyway, so apparently, and I don't know where the reports are coming from, but some people are calling for Jack Smith to be inmate of the year. Wrong side here. But let's see. Bombshell. House Judiciary Committee proves J6 leaders Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson secretly fed Jack Smith evidence, transcripts, documents, Meadows text to target Trump. Illegal collusion, violated House rules, abused power in December 2022, rush before GOP takeover. J6 was a deep state hit job. You know, there's certainly some things about that J6 stuff that were concerning. For example, when people were breaking windows up the Capitol, and all the Capitol Police just let them do it. Just didn't intervene at all. Didn't come up and say, hey, you can't do that. Didn't pull weapons. Didn't do anything. They just sat there and watched, and the one guy's out there screaming at him, hey, do you see what they're doing to our Capitol? You got to do something. And they just stood there and watched them, right? Like someone told them to stand down until people went in the building. Also, the part where the people who were down in the lower section of that, plaza, were just standing around. They weren't doing anything. They were chanting, they were yelling, whatever, but they weren't really doing anything. And all of a sudden, a bunch of flashbangs go off in there. The police start throwing flashbangs into the crowd, and some of the police started beating the people on the line with batons. That's what started the riot. So anyway, here, breaking: Jack Smith misrepresented evidence against Trump during testimony to a House committee. For the gazillionth time, Trump did not ask local officials to find 11,000 votes. Trump's legal team had evidence of substantially more than 11,000 illegal votes. So this is, according to a witness, sure, the right to vote in a presidential election is one of the most sacred rights that Americans have. And in this particular case, we had a strong evidence that defendants in this case sought to interfere with, obstruct, or injure that right. We had evidence, and just a couple of examples, where President Trump was asking local officials to find 11,000 votes. When you find 11,000 votes, you're diluting other people's votes. We had evidence that they were targeting certain states, particular parts of that area. So that's what the filing was. Is this a thread? Maybe. Jack Smith is the Fanning Willis of federal prosecutors. Oh, good God. This one says, I just want to find 11,780 votes is a direct quote from Donald Trump on the call, to which she posted this. During that call, Trump and his lawyers ticked off the numerous categories of illegal votes of which they had concrete evidence, some 25 categories. Trump had challenged those votes in the petition referenced by his attorney, but the court delayed the proceedings, which is why the legal team asked the Secretary of State's office to investigate the problem. Further, as the transcript of the conversation confirmed, Trump's legal team told Raffensperger that it had solid evidence of illegal votes easily exceeding the official margin of Biden's victory of 11,779. Under Georgia election law, if the evidence establishes that there are more illegal or irregular votes than the margin of victory, the remedy is a new election, which is why Trump focused on his need for 11,800 votes throughout his conversation with Raffensperger. Trump repeated the refrain several times during the call. I have to find 12,000 votes, and I have them times a lot, and therefore I won the state. Not once during the conversation did Trump ask Raffensperger to find 11,780 votes in the former president's favor. Rather, Trump spoke of his own desire to find 11,780 votes and did so in the context of highlighting the tens of thousands of illegal votes for which the legal team had ample evidence, and they had asked merely that the Secretary of State review the evidence of illegal voting. That appeal to the Secretary of State came because Fulton County Chief Judge Chris Basher failed to appoint a judge eligible to hear Trump's election contest for a month. Ironically, the same Judge Brasher had authorized Willis's special purpose grand jury investigation, with Willis claiming the January 2nd, 2021 telephone call to Raffensperger, necessitated by Judge Brasher's delay tactics, represented a central focus of her investigation. So, yeah, and every time they played that call, I'm like, it wasn't that he said to go find like 11,700 whatever votes. Like, you need to find those votes. He said it was in the context of that was how many that he supposedly lost by, but they have thousands of these illegal votes that they were talking about. So, but if you take a quote out of context, it's easy to put it that way. Now, is it all, who knows what would happen if they actually had done the work? Could he have still have lost? Well, sure he could have. But the fact that they were fighting, even investigating it, was the problem. And that's, so there you go. All right. Also here, let's see what else we got. Oh, yes. The Quran is trending. The Quran. And you know why the Quran is trending? Well, because the new mayor of New York was sworn in last night. I'm not going to forget the Q&A. I'm not on a time schedule today. The mayor of New York was sworn in last night, and some people are very upset. Now, some people are very upset because he was sworn in, placing his hand on the copy of the 19th century copy of the Quran. And so that's something that I don't give a shit about. Okay. If that's his holy book and he wants to place his hand on the Quran, except the only problem, the only minor problem I have with it is there's this thing called taqiyya in the Quran that you're allowed to lie to people. So if you put your hand on the Quran and it says in the Quran you're allowed to lie to people, whatever. But I don't care. I don't care about that. I think what I care more about is Zohran Mamdani and his policies that he's thinking up. So anyway, but here's a typical post, and I'll just the first one on here. The jihadist piece of shit Zohran Mamdani placed his hand on the 19th century copy of the Quran and took an oath of allegiance to the U.S. Constitution at New York City Hall. Why are we allowing this? It's like swearing the devil into office. Now, I'm agreeing with the Lord Stanhope. I'm one of those FTG Zohran Mamdani guys. Fuck that guy. But that's not that particular act. While it's not my religion, I don't care. Okay, I don't care. if you're a Hindu, you're going to be sworn in on some Hindu thing, and if you're Jewish, it's going to be on the Torah, and if it's going to be, you're going to be if they want you to put your hand, I would just swear to the people with my hand up. I don't care if your hand's on a Bible or a Torah or the Quran or some leaves and grass from the root cellar of religion of dirt. I don't care, as long as you're this part where you swear to the best of your ability is okay, right? Lots of people are upset about it, though. Someone says if you're sworn into office on the Quran, your inauguration is invalid. Now, that is a opinion, which someone's already put in community notes. Lots of people are coming up with that, right? Again, I don't give a shit. Even Kira Davis, who I love, Kira Davis, Mandami is going to be swearing into office on a Quran. If you don't think that's an act of war, you haven't been paying attention. Well, part of the problem, too, is the Quran is also a political document as much as it is a religious document. So I'm, yeah, you can be skeptical, but that's trending because of that. Now, let's go back to Mandami, though. Here's something that I did not know, and this is a post by someone named David Ashman. Nothing can besmirch the memory of New York City's 9/11 heroes, but Mayor-elect Mandami's appointment of a lawyer for al-Qaeda terrorists as the city's top attorney. It was a disgusting insult to the city he's about to represent. Does anyone know anything about that? Advocatus Diablo, could you be sworn in on a copy of Hustler? Well, I suppose you could. It probably wouldn't look really good, but except to, people who like that kind of shit. So I didn't know he appointed the attorney for for Al-Qaeda as the city's top attorney. I don't know that he did that. I haven't heard of it. But as we go down this list, John Stossel, tomorrow, proud socialist Zohran Mandami becomes the mayor of my town. Asked if he likes capitalism, he answered, no, I have many critiques of capitalism. Well, I have many critiques of you. So he put, you know what? I haven't watched it. I'm going to make a separate link just for that post, because Stossel kind of cracks me up, but I rarely do I think Stossel's wrong. I agree with Stossel a lot. I've kind of got that libertarian streak in me. Every 9/11 victim is turning over in their grave right now, seeing the Muslim piece of trash, Zohran Mandami, swearing on the Quran. Yeah, I mean, certainly there are people who are going to feel that way. Here's the actual swearing in.
Raise your right hand. I, Zohran Kwame Mandani.
Zohran Kwame Mandani.
Notice how slow she said that so she wouldn't say it wrong, because everybody says it wrong. Everybody says his name wrong. Anyway.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
What up,
Shrapnel? I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And that I will faithfully...
It's kind of weird that it says City Hall. Is he coming up from like the subway in City Hall?
Discharge.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
The duties of.
The duties of.
The office of.
The office of.
The Mayor of the City of New York.
The Mayor of the City of New York.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Oh, she is so happy. Letitia is happy as hell.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
So there you go. There's a swearing in. And again, I don't give a shit he did on the Quran. I mean, obviously, I understand why that can bring great emotions to a lot of people, and especially in New York. But, again, that's not the problem. The problem's not that. The problem is him. Okay? Who cares about the Quran part? I mean, whatever. Now here, so the Department of Justice, blah, 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 and the FBI going to ignore the fact that James O'Keefe just caught an NGO registering illegal aliens and instructed them on how to vote for a domestic terrorist. I didn't see the O'Keefe report. I'm going to put that in a separate link too if you want to watch that. But I'm not going to spend time on it myself. So there we go. All right, let's move on. There's Stossel's post. Wait, what did I skip here? Stossel? Oh, and then New Yorkers is trending because when Iranians are risking their lives and women are throwing their head coverings on the street, New Yorkers are cheering for a Muslim mayor being sworn in while holding his hand on a Quran. What's wrong with Democrats' mental state? Okay, a lot of people are focused on that Quran. I want to focus on him and his policies, his piece of shit. In less than 25 years after thousands of New Yorkers were killed in 9/11, the chief counsel of New York is going to be an Islamist lawyer who came to this country after 9/11 specifically to defend the very Al-Qaeda terrorists we were fighting against. The fact that our immigration system post 9/11 even allowed him to step foot into the country is a monumental failure. Disgraceful is not a big enough word for what's happening here. The federal government must get a lot more involved in New York. We cannot allow these people to go unchecked. So here's the post that we're talking about. This is the one. So Zohran Mamdani announced the nomination of Ramzi Qassem as chief counsel of New York City. Qassem returned to America from the Middle East in 2001, inspired by 9/11 to defend an Al-Qaeda terrorist. Quote, I found myself pulled in the direction of doing rights work for domestically in the United States, representing Guantanamo and Bagram prisoners. One of his most recent clients was Mahmoud Khalil, a Syrian-born terrorist sympathizer who Secretary Rubio attempted to have deported for national security concerns. Qassem convinced the judge to rule in favor of keeping him on American soil. That city was terrorized by Islam 24 years ago, will now have an Islamist as its chief counsel. So here's the announcement. Maybe.
I am delighted to announce that I am naming Ramzi Qassem as chief counsel. You
gotta be kidding me. Just the optics of that. Can you imagine the optic? Think about like in, well, especially in Long Island, right? Think of the optics of this. The counsel for 9/11 terrorists, whatever you want to call them. You make him the chief counsel for the city of New York City. This is not good. Avocado Diabli dropping another small bowl of the tip jar. Thank you. What the hell? Work. There we go. Says, I wonder if they swore him in the tunnel of a subway because there are no line of sights for would-be pew-pew assassins. Yeah, maybe. They got to keep him, they got to keep him safe, right? This is crazy.
Ramzi will be joining the administration from CUNY, where he serves as a professor of law. Government service is no novel concept for Ramzi, who served as a senior policy advisor for President Biden from 2022 to 2024.
I didn't know that either. I did not know that he was a senior policy advisor for Biden. The optics are terrible. I don't know what he's thinking. Hello, K-Show. What up, Kristen? How you doing?
Has deep experience arguing in court, including before the Supreme Court. I will turn to Ramzi for his remarkable experience and
he's a professor at City University of New York or whatever.
His commitment to defending those too often abandoned by our legal system. City Hall will be stronger with him in it, and our work of building a more prosperous city for all will have a powerful advocate. My sincere hope is that New Yorkers who have long felt on the margins of this city, the homeless veteran straining to survive, the patient searching for the care that they need, an immigrant trying to get by, will feel that they now have leaders in their corner who understand their struggles and care to fight for them. That is the city I want to build, the prosperity I intend to deliver, and the leadership that has too long been lacking.
So there you go. There's, it just, this is not even trying. His job is to prosecute people who violate laws, not protect people who are overlooked. Right? Holy shit! What is this? That's crazy, man. It's just crazy. All right. Oh, and then the last thing that I have on the list of things before we get into the Q&A, there's some trouble in Iran right now, and I wasn't quite. I knew there was stuff going on there, but apparently. Well, first of all, death to Khamenei is trending. Someone here says it's deeply sickening to see the left and mainstream media remain silent while people rise up against tyranny and terrorism. Young Iranians shout death Khamenei, and it is a death silence. The left and its loud spokespeople refuse to acknowledge that these true heroes and seek to suppress any narratives that challenge the mullahs and Islamists. No need to name names one by one. We all know who they are since October 7th. The left proves itself to be the greatest enemy of humanity and our freedoms. Let's make some noises, blah, blah, blah. So what's happening, the people in Iran are shouting the slogan, have taken control of the headquarters of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, in Asadabad. Hopefully this time the Persian people can finally get rid of the Islamic invaders who took over Iran. So here's the breaking news. Iran in chaos. Protesters storm governor's office. Crowd chants death to Khamenei. As regime orders nationwide shutdown, Iran is grinding to a halt. Businesses, universities, and government offices closed across 21 of the 31 provinces Wednesday as protests fueled by economic collapse entered the fourth day. In Faza, demonstrators stormed the governor's office. IRGC forces opened fire. Military helicopters flew overhead to intimidate residents. Video footage shows crowds chanting death to Khamenei and death to the dictator. Bazaar merchants in Kermanshah confronted security forces shouting dishonorable. The economic crisis is severe. Inflation, currency collapse, declining living standards. President Pezeshkian just appointed a new central bank chief, acknowledging the role is extremely difficult and complex. Khamenei's response was to appoint hardline IRGC commander as deputy commander-in-chief of the Revolutionary Guards. This comes as Trump threatens to eradicate any Iranian rebuilding of missiles or nuclear programs, and the U.S. pursues an Iranian-linked oil tanker in the Atlantic. The regime is under pressure from all directions. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Hello, Alan Thaler. How you doing? Thaler. I said Thaler, not Thaler. And you told me how to say that, and I even messed it up now. So anyway, yeah. So this is crazy. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in Iran? Here's someone. I truly love my fellow Iranians. The MEC launched a large coordinated cyber campaign claiming that videos of pro-Pahlavi chants are fake. Meanwhile, protesters burned a photo of Mariam Rajavi. You can hear a woman's voice saying, "Death Khamenei the butcher, death to Rajavi the pimp, only the crown prince and the monarchy." So here, I'll throw a New York Post article on this out too, which the New York Post is reporting on it, which is, I guess, not surprising. Okay, see, the People's Organizing, it's the Mujahideen Organization of Iran, called MEC, shows intense clashes between protesters and security forces in cities including Shiraz, Isfahan, Kermanshah, and Tehran. In the videos, protesters chant anti-regime slogans and confront security forces in crowded streets. And apparently they've been opening fire on the protesters. But now apparently they've taken over one of the IRGC buildings. So anyway, there's a more detailed report here in the New York Post. All right, let's get to the Q&A. There's a ton of stuff in the morning report on Ace of Spades blog, which is, I post this with the links every day, because if you scroll down, he's got all kinds of news based on different categories. But today's Q&A for New Year's Day, I was curious what you guys did for New Year's Eve. And so it's in the question box here. Let me go through some of these. First, I'll do this. Thank you, Avocado Stay. I'll be dropping another small bullet in the tip jar. Says, saw someone talking about this who is happy because it might allow us to open up trade with Iran if there was a regime change. All I could think was, who needs shitty overpriced carpet? God damn it. Oh, AD, always on point. All right. What'd you do on New Year's Eve to celebrate the new year? I got goodness gracious. One of my thank you, Alan Thaler, dropping another 26 in the tip jar, and the message is Dawg. Well, Dawg to you too, brother. Thank you very much. Always so generous. I appreciate it. Avocados Diabli says, what did you do? Again, the question is, what did you do for New Year's Eve or to ring in the 2026? Avocados Diabli says, well, I would tell you, but you will have to wait a few years for the statute of limitations to run out. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Midnight says we turned on the black light and painted our faces with neon paint. Really? Did you really do that? Is that true? Is that, you can tell me in the regular chat. That sounds fun. Unaccepted Views says ate good food, drank some whiskey, and smoked weed. Hey. Oh, I didn't give, and I got one for Midnight too. Again, everyone's getting a bell for their responses today. Somnambule Nation says made my wife a steak dinner and celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. Oh, congratulations! Freaky Deaky is in the eye of the beholder. True. Well, congratulations and happy anniversary. 30 years. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think what's this for us in February? Will be our 33rd. Wow. Select a boy. What did I do for New Year's? Was have a beer, tied a piece of panettone, and watched the ball drop in the comfort of my living room. Hey, that's look. We normally don't go out on New Year's Eve because it's amateur night, and the only reason we thought, well, what we do, we usually go out early. Like we're talking like 5 or 6 to have some dinner or have a cocktail somewhere, which this year we went to a party and then went to our favorite place to have a cocktail. We've gone to the same place for a New Year's Eve cocktail every year for the last like 8 or 9 years. And then we thought, well, we can go to Trail Stop because it's a neighborhood bar that doesn't have a lot of places that you can get in trouble driving home from, because we can get there. Basically, we did drive through neighborhoods and we're home. So we had a cocktail there too, and then celebrated at midnight. But yeah, staying home is always a good idea the older you get on New Year's Eve. Special Cat Acid said, stared into the abyss. Oh, Lord, what abyss? Good Lord. Lord Stanhope, you and the Slanesh thing. Worship Slanesh. Okay. And Cursed Life. I emptied out my liquor cabinet into a kiddie pool, creating a super liquor that me and my neighbors bathed in. You know, it's funny. In high school, we had we called it a baby bathtub party. We bought a brand new baby bathtub, washed it out, and we're like, okay, bring something to pour in it. People just poured whatever into it. And that was the night that I woke up in the morning on face down on the deck. Because it gets so shit-faced. And then Lord Stan, one more. I watched SpongeBob with homeless people. Come on. Did you really have that bad of a New Year's? Good Lord. Ty Alexander streamed with the boys and made jokes about Somali and Tampon Tim. Hey, that's a great New Year's if you ask me. Oh, Lord Stanhope with more. Donated 20 Pork King pizzas to my local Muslim community senator. Damn, you had a hell of a New Year's. Lord Stanhope had a simple dinner with my family, living and deceased. Whoa. And Avocados Diabli, for the record, though, I was not in Amsterdam for New Year's. Well, thank God you were not in Amsterdam. All right, I'm shutting that down. No more Q&A. Anything else anyone wants to talk about? I'm kind of let's see. If Marty created Super Liquor, he truly is a professional bartender. Yeah, well, yeah, we did that one time. That Super Liquor knocked me on my butt. But anyway, so let's see. Anything else over here? Oh, I was going to check. I want to check the morning report though. I didn't really check it out. Good morning, kids. Happy New Year, everyone. Sadly, we kick things off on a truly tragic note. Many fatalities have been reported as a result of a fire at a Swiss ski lodge that broke out on New Year's Eve. Oh my God, that's terrible news. 40 people dead, 100 hurt after a fire rips through New Year's party at a Swiss ski resort. Apparently there's an explosion that ripped through a packed bar in the Swiss Alps resort town during a New Year's celebration. The deadly blaze erupted around 1:30 a.m. at the La Constellation bar at the ritzy ski resort town of Crans, Montana. in the Valais Canton. It was like a horror movie, according to a witness, which is believed to have started accidentally. Holy shit. Terrifying footage taken by a New York tourist from outside shows flames ripping through the bar as witnesses scream in horror. The bar can hold up to 300 people. Further video shows emergency service treating the wounded in the street while survivors stand around still in their New Year's party outfits. Witnesses believe the explosion was triggered by sparklers being held too close to a ceiling, which set the roof on fire, according to reports. Well, why would it cause an explosion, though? At the moment, we are considering this a fire, and we are not considering the possibility of an attack. Prosecutor Beatrice Pilude stressed at a press conference, adding that the authorities opened a full investigation. Oh, man, how awful is that? Pray for those victims. Let's see. Anyway, given up everything that's going on in the world today, while there is scant information about the cause, the Islam's angle is certainly at top of mind. Yikes. Well, we can't assume that, but you know, it pops into your head because it happens. Good Lord. PDawg, did you see the DoorDash driver who got caught pepper spraying people's food? Oh no. If you got a link, put it in the chat. I did not see that one. Well, and then so we continue. Well, it is indeed a new day and a new year, but sadly much of the same old insanity, as well as flashes of normalcy, as we still have President Trump firmly in the Oval Office pushing the MAGA and America First agenda domestically and internationally. But here's as CBD and I, he has a podcast, discussing the final episode of 2025 linked here, as well as the sidebar, the available online outlets. This is the bottom of the post. Donald Trump isn't necessarily a revolutionary as he is or positioned himself a reformer, as was the case with Amy Verman Jackson, Hack in Black, who illegally blocked his constitutional authority as chief executive from running the CFPB Politburo itself, a completely unconstitutional entity, as we discussed yesterday. God bless the president, as he still has faith that an utterly corrupt institution and those who belong to it that are at the heart of the corruption will act honorably and play by the rules, and not act as partisan anti-American internal enemies of the people in advancing their goal to take him down and take America down. That has always been his Achilles heel. He cannot or will not distinguish mere rivals from mortal enemies in the figurative and literal sense. In 2025, there were 2 assassination attempts on the president and possibly a third that was linked to the regime in Tehran. On top of that, of course, was the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a leading light and voice of America's political and societal revival, who more than anyone in recent memory was able to reach and steer youth of this nation away from the siren song of leftism. For that direct threat to the multi-generational assault on this nation and society by those who continue to seek our destruction and or subjugation, Kirk had to be taken down. Regardless, TPUSA and its mission continue. How many young people has the late Charlie Kirk inspired or otherwise enlightened and set on the straight and narrow, as President Trump is fond of saying? We'll just have to wait and see. Of course, the fallout over the Somali immigrant sacking and looting of Minnesota and quite likely state treasuries of Ohio and quite a few other blue and sadly red states as well will be the top story as we head into 2026, while the leftist controlled propaganda machine will do all it can to embargo and bury the truth or otherwise completely distort it as a Trump Hitlerite white supremacist assault on African Somali immigrant community whose presence in our soil is a blessing and a gift from heaven instead of at least 2 of the 10 plagues of Passover Exodus fame. Were it not for the intrepid and wonderful reportage of one Nick Shirley, who at the tender age of 23, to me, for this alone, is the grand old man of real journalism. For doing what he did, he is now likely has a gigantic target on his head, which he refers to his appearance on the PBD podcast, where he said he's been getting quite a few death threats. Considering the players involved, no, not just low-level hoods, but the top echelons of Minnesota, and quite likely National Democratic Party, as well as Al-Shabaab, ISIS, and other terrorist organizations operating in Somalia and elsewhere, do you really think they're going to let someone get away with putting them out of business? Minnesota is likely to tip the iceberg, as it probably goes way beyond Minnesota and the Somali community, but other immigrant groups and native-born fraudsters. Already, the usual suspects are preemptively justifying and calling for the assassination of anyone who dares even come near them. And this says, that's the top. We talked about the top legal reporter for Politico saying, well, people might need to start using their or not need to, but start using their stand their ground stuff. Hang on a second here. I'm just trying to find if you drop me a link. Wait. Okay. Thank you, Avocas Diabli. Oh, here's the link to that, the DoorDash driver. We'll get to that shortly. Back to Ace here. Or not Ace, JJ. Where was I? Oh, and then just look at the hell that Project Veritas James O'Keefe, whose name I just couldn't remember for the life of me when we spoke of this in the podcast, has been put through over the years for his incredible exposés of leftist graft. And lest we forget the decade of hell, the evil Bellatrix. Kamala Harris, as Attorney General of California, put David Daladin and Sarah Merritt through for their explosive expose of Planned Parenthood's dismembering and selling of infant body parts. Here's hoping and praying that 2026 sees legion of Charlie Kirks and Nick Shirley's coming forward again. As we bemoaned on the podcast, President Trump can't be expected to drain the swamp, the size and depth of every ocean on the planet, all by himself. And here's hoping that the prognostications about our youth drifting even rushing headlong to embrace socialism are somehow way off base and missing something that would indicate otherwise. I have the greatest respect and admiration for our dear friend Jim Lakely at heartland.org, but every time I talk to him about his polling vis-a-vis the aforementioned, I want to slip my wrist. Wow, that's interesting. Other than that, could the mullahs in Iran long last finally be on the ropes and perhaps dangling a la the, I can't pronounce that, Secrus? From ropes of the Tehran lamppost? We've seen this picture before, and sadly the protests fizzled and more accurately were brutally crushed by the IRGC. Unless we forget back in 2009, Barack Obama refused to support the Persian people and threw his full-throated support behind the mullahs with pallets of cash to help them build their nukes and export Islamic terrorism around the globe. But this time is different because the Iranian currency, the rial, is cratering. Yeah, remember they were trying to make the rial the world currency, or they were coming up with the, what was it called? BRICS. They were trying to come up with a BRICS currency to replace the dollar. Well, the rial is cratering, and their water supply is in tatters, along with their oil refineries. The people are sicker than ever with the mullahs and their mullahs and their thugs, and Donald Trump is in office. So no doubt, we'll try to unseat the mullahocracy if at all possible via sanctions and perhaps other means. Now, if Iran can be liberated after more than 45 years of Islamo tyranny, what a blessing for their people and indeed for the world as a whole, since they are the number one with a bullet, biggest state sponsor of global terrorism. So, and he continues, have a great day. Here's wishing all of you a happy, healthy, prosperous 2026. And then it gets into the articles. So I strongly recommend you check that out. Thank you, Epicot Established. It's pronounced Sekursku like the former president of Romania, which I just butchered that too. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All right, let's we're gonna finish up with this one. Thank you, Avocatus Diabli. About a DoorDash driver who has been accused of, here, let me close a couple of things here real quick. Close that. DoorDash driver accused of pepper spraying Arby's bag after dropping off food delivery. Chocheski. Oh, Chocheski. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the phonetics. That helps me a lot. All right. DoorDash driver accused of pepper spraying Arby's bag after dropping off food delivery in Vanderburgh County, Indiana. A food delivery driver is accused of dropping off an Arby's bag using pepper spray toward it. Mark Cardine and his wife said it happened early Sunday morning as they decided to order DoorDash just past midnight, but it didn't take them long to realize something was wrong with their food. Quote, I noticed my wife started eating, and she started choking and gasping. And after she had a couple bites of her food, she actually threw up. Kurdian said he started to check the food a little closer. I had a look at the bag and saw that there was some kind of spray or something. He said the bag had been tampered with, so I pulled up my doorbell camera and saw the lady who dropped off the food had actually tampered with it on purpose for some reason. Cardian shared his doorbell video showing the delivery driver dropping out the food, appearing to show her spraying the food bag after dropping it off. It's horrific, he said. We assume it's pepper spray. That's more than likely what it is, but now in this day and age, it could have been anything. It could have been rat poison. It could have been fentanyl. I mean, my wife could be dead. Kurdian immediately contacted DoorDash and then law enforcement. He said DoorDash refunded his money. Oh, good for them. But did not seem to look into the incident very seriously. Quote, I definitely want to see her prosecuted. The Vanderbilt County Sheriff's Office is investigating, and the delivery driver could potentially face felony charges. Yeah, that's a big deal. Tampering with someone's food, and I think there's a federal crime about that too. Because that's just extremely dangerous. Obviously you could kill somebody if you tamper their food with any kind of substance. It could be the wrong substance. It could be something that they're allergic to and they die. Cardian said they didn't know the driver, and they did tip her. We live in a terrible world right now, he said. Horrific. People are mean for no reason. There's no reason to do what she did. Cardian is using this experience to encourage others to be alert at all times. I would say to anybody, if you order food on any kind of delivery service, make sure you have a doorbell camera. This making me second guessing ever ordering food from anywhere else again. Yeah, I'm not a fan of, well, I mean, if you get delivery food, I know a lot of people, when they order delivery food because of COVID, they still say, oh, just leave it at the door. Don't, they want the contactless. Man, I don't know. It's a bigger crime than if they just got pepper sprayed. Yes, it is. It is a bigger crime than if they just got pepper sprayed. Like, it's assault if you just pepper spray somebody, it's an assault. But there is major crime in tampering with food. It just is. So did they play? Oh, here's the video. Here's the video right here.
We start tonight in Vanderbilt County, where an investigation is underway.
I didn't have to read this.
DoorDash experience, which is all caught on camera. Our Emma Beck spoke with him today and joins us now with this developing story. Emma?
Well, Rob, Mark Cardin is seeking charges after his doorbell camera caught a DoorDash delivery driver as they seemed to pepper spray his order. He says watching the video, he couldn't believe what he was seeing.
What the hell?
It was just past midnight on December 7th when Mark Cardin and his wife decided to order DoorDash. It didn't take them long to realize something was wrong with their food.
I noticed my wife had started eating and she started choking.
The rest of it is just what I read, so I'm not going to put the whole thing on there. But yeah, that's...
Cardin is seeking charges after his doorbell camera caught a DoorDash delivery driver as they seemed to pepper spray his order. He says watching the video, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was just past midnight.
It's odd, you would think that you would immediately feel some effects from that, but maybe they didn't pick it up real fast. Why'd they blur her face? I think there might be some legal reasons to do it until she's convicted. But they know who the driver is. Okay, just by the way, if you happen to be a food delivery person, what a stupid thing to do, especially with doorbell cameras. I mean, look, if you're going to be a criminal, why do you have to be a stupid criminal? Do you have to be a stupid criminal? First of all, not only is there a record of who delivered the food, the actual person, if you're getting paid by DoorDash to deliver food, they have your name and all your details, right? But then you do it on a door camera? The original video was not blurred. The news did it to protect themselves. Yes, yeah, right. No, was she Somalian? I don't know. She was fat. that has anything to do with it. But yeah, what a messed up thing to do. That's just fucked up. Man, what's going on in this world? So, all right, guys. I think it's time for me and Lady Boomer to go to brunch or something, go get some food. So, thank you for joining me today on this beautiful first day of the year. My wishes for you is that you have a wonderful 2026. And if you're in the U.S., get ready to celebrate the celebration of all celebrations. I remember the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1976, and they had some nice stuff going on. And I was just a kid, and I couldn't participate in half of it. Now I'm old enough to drink, so we're gonna fire this one up, baby. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll see. Oh, DoorDash, Marty. Wait a minute, what? Oh, you know, I didn't check. Hang on a second. Did I miss? I did the. Oh, I did do my direct message there from Ms. Wild Wolf. Okay, yeah, we saw that video. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Hold up. Hey. Let's just, you know what? I don't have to, I got a few minutes. Let me just do this real quick. Sorry, I psyched you out. Some of you probably already clicked get out of here. Here, wow, Minnesota taxpayers in 2018 protesting the exploding Somali daycare fraud scandal. Fast forward a day, billions stolen, yet no real accountability. So this is from 2018, because there was information on this. Nick Shirley's didn't discover something new, but he did discover something that it didn't seem to get enough attention. This is from 2018.
Different cultural values. Is she saying that some cultures support fraud? I don't know what she meant by that. That I saw her say that. I'm curious about that.
Because we're just sick of this, and nothing's really being done about it. So we're here, citizens, as normal people. You can join us if you're sick of this as well. This is not acceptable. We will not have our money being smuggled in suitcases through the Minneapolis airport.
Oh, yeah. See, that was even being reported. For some reason, I've never understood. You're not supposed to be able to take, if you transport more than $10,000 on airplanes. Maybe Tyre can explain this. Tyre, are you still here? I hope you didn't close off. Explain in the chat, like when you transport cash through an airport, because apparently they had already declared it, and so they could take it. Like we're talking millions of dollars in suitcases. I don't understand that.
And to Somalia, this has to stop, and their people have to be held accountable. And our elected officials have to be held accountable. And people need to go to prison for this, because we're just not going to take it anymore.
We didn't really get the answers we were looking for, basically. I mean, the Minnesota taxpayers are being taken to the cleaner. For sure.
If you're traveling domestically, you can carry as much money as you like. But these people were traveling to Somalia with suitcases of money. That's what if you're traveling internationally, you have to declare any amount over 10,000. Okay. So as long as you declare it, you can take it. Interesting. So that's from 2018. By the way, just in, News Nation's Rich McHugh finds more apparent fraud in Minnesota, finds one building with 60 healthcare businesses registered to it. McHugh says he visited multiple buildings with dozens of businesses inside. When he entered one of the buildings, he found door fronts with nothing behind. Many of them, they appeared just to be window fronts, door fronts with nothing, nobody behind. So here's this report from News Nation. Now, News Nation is interesting because they are pretty much down the middle. If you ever watch some of their stuff, granted, they have Chris Cuomo on there, but he's kind of gotten away from always being on one side or the other. He kind of plays devil's advocates on both sides. Here's this report from News Nation. Maybe. There we go.
This building right behind me has 22 different home and community-based healthcare companies registered in the building. It's only 4 floors. I walked in there yesterday trying to find a number of them. Many of them are just, they appear to be just window fronts, door fronts with nobody behind. So same story, different location. We're here in St. Paul at this building, which looks like a warehouse or a dilapidated old building. Inside this building, there are 60 registered home and health community healthcare organizations. Now,
let's see if they just happen to be from a single community, or if there's lots of people doing this kind of fraud. Because it could be widespread fraud amongst not just a single community, but they just happen to find it in this community. I'm curious because now I kind of go, who else is doing this?
Inside this one building. We're here in Northeast Minneapolis, and we're at a building that I believe is on the radar of authorities. They have questions about it. A lot of the businesses in here are home healthcare businesses. Of the total businesses, there's 37.
37 in that building.
17 of them are home healthcare businesses. There's just layer upon layer upon layer of fraud throughout this city, Jessica. As for whether Governor Walz is going to testify before the Oversight Committee, that remains to be seen. We asked him at his office if he was going to testify, and we have yet to hear back.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's just, I'm just literally just scrolling down my feed here. Here's a report from 7 years ago. Somali fraudsters caught sending over $100 million through airports to foreign groups, including terrorist groups, Somali daycare scams. One of the sources of this fraud were reported back in 2015. The fraud has been going on for years. Democrat leaders are in on it. This is actually treason. Democrats are knowingly funding Islamic terrorism against Americans with our tax dollars. Now, that's an opinion. I remind you, that's her opinion. This is from 2015, though. Here's Fox 9 is the local, and just because the Fox 9 channel here is not conservative, by the way, it just happens to be a Fox affiliate.
It's the morning of March 15th. We're chasing a tip about a man who's leaving the country. Our sources tell us he just took a carry-on bag through security that was packed with $1 million cash. You can do that as long as you fill out one of these government forms. We're told these cloak and dagger-like scenarios now happen almost weekly at MSP International. The money is usually headed to the Middle East.
Weekly.
Dubai and points beyond. Our sources say last year alone, more than $100 million cash left MSP in carry-on luggage.
What we were interested in is where it was going.
The national go-to expert on what's behind these mysterious money transfers is Glenn Kearns. He's a former Seattle police detective who spent 15 years on the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force until his retirement.
I'm sure he's a white supremacist right-wing nutjob too, right?
Outright crime. It's unbelievable.
Kearns tracked millions of dollars in cash that was leaving on flights from Seattle. It was coming from hawalas, businesses used to courier money to countries that have no official banking system. Some immigrant communities rely on hawalas to send funds to help impoverished relatives back home. Kearns discovered some of the
$1 million would go a long way, especially in Somalia.
Money was being funneled to a hawala in a region of Somalia that's controlled by the Al-Shabaab terrorist group. How could they possibly come up with such big bucks to transfer back home?
We had sources that told us it's all about it's welfare fraud. It's all about the daycare.
To better understand the connection between daycare fraud and the surge in carry-on cash, you have to look at the history of this crime. 5 years ago, the Fox 9 investigators were...
Also, remember, this is before COVID. So a lot of these people are saying, oh, yeah, the system was really lax because of COVID. It's Donald Trump's fault because of COVID. This is COVID. Donald handled COVID wrong, and that's why it's so they made the system so lax. This report's from 2015.
First to report that daycare fraud was on the rise.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I just thought of something. Who was the president in 2015? Just saying.
Here in Minnesota, we exposed how some businesses were gaming the system to steal millions in government subsidies meant to help low-income families with their child care expenses.
This is a great way to make some money. I think it's kind of that informal word of mouth.
I wonder if they saw this as a primer.
In order for the scheme to work, the daycare centers need to sign up low-income families that qualify for child care assistance funding.
Look at the cars. They're all
These
new
surveillance
cars.
videos are from a case prosecuted by Hennepin County. They show parents checking their kids into a center only to leave with them a few minutes later. Sometimes no children would show up.
They're getting paid.
But either way, the center
show
would bill the state for a full day of child care.
So there you go. And that's what I said. You know, they have their own surveillance cameras and they have their security cameras. Well, they can show you video of people coming into.
It's the morning of March.
They can show you people coming into the daycare, they can prove they had people coming into their daycare. Do they show them the video of them leaving, though? New Year brings more bad news for Minnesota's. Property taxes are about to jump by $1 billion to cover the mess Tim Walz created. He blew through $19 billion surplus, raised taxes $9 billion, hiked spending 40%, and let $9 billion get stolen in fraud. Unbelievable. Yeah, our property taxes are going up significantly this year. We found out, and we're not happy about it. Here's that report from, this is Channel 5. That's also local Minnesota news.
And you might not like what you see when you open up that envelope. I did not open mine. I didn't want to see it. Preliminary notices so far, but these new numbers just released by the Minnesota Department of Revenue show property taxes around the state could increase by a total of almost $950 million.
It's a 7% increase for the average home, okay? Because I hate when they'll put out this big number. Oh, it's up by over $1 billion. Well, you got to divide that amongst the entire state, but still, it's a 7% property tax increase. It's crazy.
That's a jump of nearly 7% compared to this year. The state says cities, counties, schools, other taxing districts are all taxing at a higher rate than last.
Part of it's because now you feed every kid in Minnesota free breakfast and lunch in their schools, which I understand when you want to make sure the poor kids can eat, but they're feeding every kid. They're the richest school districts in the state. They're feeding every kid breakfast and lunch. Why? Parents, has there been a problem with the rich kids' parents not feeding them before they go to school or giving them school lunch? What the, it's insane. It's fucking insane.
Last year.
You don't want to, you want to take food from children. Yeah, when their last name's Pillsbury, when their last name's Carlson, when their last name's Walls, yeah, I do. I want the Pillsburys, the Carlsons, and the Walls to their last name's Dayton. Dayton are the founders of Target. Yeah. If they have a $40 million home on Minnetonka, yeah, I don't want to have to pay for your fucking kid's school lunch. Is that okay? Jesus Christ. Oh, I just can't believe I said that.
We have been reporting on for weeks now. Local governments have until December 29th to set their final levies. The finalized property tax statements will be released early next.
No, not Arthur Big Guy Carlson. Kurt Carlson is the founder of Carlson Companies. He's dead, but his family, Radisson's, TGI Fridays. I mean, it's all kinds of hospitality. It's a hospitality company. Multiple hotel chains and restaurant chains were part of Carlson Companies. Although TGI Fridays is dying, but whatever. Let's see. Explain your way out of this. I double dare you, MAGA. You tried. You feel misery. Our 2026 is going to us be mocking MAGA to their faces relentlessly, as we know it's going to tank our viewership. Been there, done that. It'll be entertaining. If you tax the rich, they'll just leave. Massachusetts tax on millionaires has fixed bridges, funded buses, hired teachers, and made community college and school meals free. The state has 39% more millionaires than they did before. Give me a source, dickhead. What does that even mean? According to who? I haven't analyzed that many, but I want you to go through all the comments. I can prove 90% of the accounts labeled with this. 1 in 14 accounts you debate with on this platform are real humans. They're putting on a theater for your eyes. Who the fuck are you? Yeah, a bot with 86. What? So he's just going to claim that everyone who disagrees is a bot. That's wow. That's really brave. That's stunning and brave. Anyone who disagrees with the bot. Left my ass. Smiley Daycare, who falsely claimed someone broke in and stole their student enrollment documents, are now showing off where the burglars entered. Unfortunately for them, though, the cuts in the sheetrock seem to have been made on the inside. This is a clown show. So this is one of the daycares here. They claim they were robbed yesterday. They were on the news. And what's funny is the guy basically making the script was just seemed so nervous of even trying to tell the story. It didn't seem credible. Here it is.
Of what they say vandals did. Now, this is where they say the vandals got into the daycare through cinder block and appeared to be unsuccessful when trying many other ways. The daycare says it appears the vandals first tried to saw into the door of the Family Dollar next door in the shopping center, but that didn't work. The manager claims those who broke in went straight to the office, stealing information of the many.
So what they said, this is also kind of funny. So they claim that this one daycare claimed that some people broke in and they vandalized, and they came in and stole all the paperwork for all the children. All the employees and all their checkbooks and everything. They stole all the important papers that would prove that we're a legitimate daycare. Oh no! Oh my! Oh God!
Children who were taken care of here.
We are not a part of any harmful things that are being said. We have no problem with CCAP, and our licensing has been good. Even the inspections.
And look at all the saviors in the background putting up signs. Cutting CCAP hurts kids. It also hurts people stealing from CCAP.
I want to say no intimidation is going to stop us.
Of what they say vandals did. Now, this is where they say the vandals got into the daycare through cinder block and appeared to be.
So, now it's hard to tell. How did they tried to get in through here? How? This says that unfortunately for them though, the cuts in the sheetrock seem to have been made on the inside. So let's see. Christopher Webb, this is the new "they're eating your pets" racist as fuck. No, it's not. And here's another one of their talking points that's coming out. So this guy says, this is the new "they're eating your pets" racist as fuck. The right is blaming Somalis as a group for fraud. Let's slow down for a second. The Feeding Our Future scandal, largest COVID relief fraud case in U.S. history, has a ringleader. Her name is Amy Bach, a white woman. She founded the nonprofit, ran the operation, was convicted on wire fraud and bribery charges. Funny how the right never blamed white folks as a group for this fraud. Okay, in the Feeding Our Future scandal, she was part of that, and everyone's pointed her out. But guess what? Almost all her co-conspirators were Somalians. So, yeah, okay. And I'm not blaming the Somalians at all. I'm blaming the people who did it. You hear me say all the time, can't blame all the Somalians for this. Some of that Somalians I work with are very nice people. But I get it. Now let's see. A new scam has just been uncovered in Minnesota. Regular homes are being registered as assisted living facilities. So here's another one. I'm not sure how they're doing. This is the same guy.
This may look like your typical single-family home, but it bills itself as an assisted living facility, and it receives a lot of taxpayer money. Here in Minnesota, the number of people getting help.
That's an assisted living facility. It's funny because my wife was the director of assisted living facility, or of health director of health services for adult assisted living facility. And so I have a little experience, visiting her at work and doing some volunteer work there.
In assisted living facilities is up, double the growth of other programs. But here's the kicker. The rate of payment in this assisted living space is 10 to 15 times the growth in other programs.
Hi.
So we pulled the data on assisted living facilities in the Minneapolis.
Wait to hear this. I saw this yesterday too.
This area, Minneapolis, as you might expect, has a lot. 169. St. Paul, with a population of 307,000, has 83. But Brooklyn Center, 30,000 population, has 106. And Brooklyn Park, population of 84,000, has 181, more than Minneapolis, a city 5 times its size.
So catch that again. So Minneapolis population, 429,000, 169 assisted living facilities. St. Paul, 307,000 population, 83 assisted living facilities. Brooklyn Center, which is just north metro, just north of Minneapolis, 30,000 people, but 106 facilities. Brooklyn Park, 84,000 population, 181 facilities, more than Minneapolis. You got to be kidding me.
City 5 times its size. But this assisted living facility puts this all in perspective. It's owned by a man indicted for laundering $1 million in the Feeding Our Future scam. He's Gandhi Mohammed, now Gandhi Abdi Kadai, and his LLC owns the homes.
Hey, he can change his name and maybe get out of some trouble. I don't know.
His wife runs the assisted living facilities, and the state is continuing to pay as he awaits his trial. Okay. We went to each of them. We're curious because the man who owns this building was indicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal. Did you know that?
No.
Don't know that?
No. You think what?
Do you know the Feeding Our Future scandal? The scam that was, there's all these indictments related to false, billing on feeding children.
No, that's not true.
He was indicted. He was convicted.
That it's not true?
It's not true. The way I know her, no.
These assisted living facilities received over $2.3 million in state money last year alone. A Minnesota Reformer article says he has been paid a whopping $49 million since 2016. How is it possible that this person who's been indicted in Feeding Our Future also is still collecting checks from the state, running these assisted living centers with his wife?
I honestly have no idea. It seems like the most basic due diligence would have been to run a check of all the people indicted in Feeding Our Future and then make sure they're not getting paid from other state programs. And at least in this
$49 million in 9 years. Wow.
case, and I've heard perhaps in others, they didn't do that.
State Representative Kristen Robbins.
Okay, I'm going to skip down. This is all in my feed, and I'm not even looking for this stuff. Wow, read this carefully. Over 40 daycare centers reportedly opened in Columbus, Ohio on the same day, all linked to the same inactive shell entity. Together pulled in $14 million in taxpayer-funded subsidies in a single year. We saw that one. By the way, this daycare guy, I didn't see this. Someone mentioned this early in the chat. I didn't even notice this. Apparently this dude is wearing $2,000 glasses.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and...
So people were looking that up, and apparently those are... Well, here, let's keep playing.
We saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back.
I can't afford $2,000 glasses.
From the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors
was broken scripted
into as well.
This is not off the top of his head. It's on a script.
We saw that. Unfortunately, we saw that there was.
Here,
we don't know.
Are they gonna put a point here anyway?
Claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares.
Caught on record, British lawyer Mr. Trump's national security strategy was as the empire in the ropes and reveals they plan to outlast him. Okay, I don't know what that's. The same daycares visited by Nick Shirley in this viral video were visited by several times, but in 2024 by KSTP, and they show the same results: no kids, no workers. So this is a report from locally. Same report, same places. Hello.
I visited several times, and each time, no apparent sign of any workers.
It just didn't make national news.
No apparent sign of any children. Is anybody there? Since 2018, Minnesota Child Care Center, however, received $11.5 million in CCAP money.
He and Nick visited one of the child cares, both of them visited, and found the same thing. There were no children, there were no workers, doors locked during regular business hours. He went back several times. Nick was here for that one day, spent 10 hours on the ground, made this 42-minute video. It was great work. But Jay, benefiting from his proximity to the story,
local channel,
town, he went back over a period of weeks to these same locations and reinforced the findings went back time and time again. So a lot of the criticism of Nick, he must have been there on a weekend or must have been there on a holiday or something. Like, Jay went back over and over again, and he followed up with state officials. He followed up with legislative officials.
I visited several times, and each time...
It's amazing. But there's still people out here trying to misdirect, defend, whatever. Since Nick Shirley wants us to believe that only Somalis commit fraud. No, he doesn't want us to believe only Somali commits fraud. That's a lie too. It just means that they happen to be saturated with fraud. Below are all the relevant documents in the fraud cases involving Nick's family, in which they were alleged to have defrauded a company over $500,000. They settled the case for $20,000 because they were being hounded. What does that mean? What does that have to do? Does that mean his reporting's wrong? It's just unbelievable. So it's all over. It's all over the internet. So there you go. All right. I am. Uh-oh. Did I do this right? Oh, there we go. Here. Okay. Here's the links from today. I gotta go. We gotta eat. I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy New Year. Be well in 2026. Do what you need to do to make your life a little better every day. And by the end of the year, you'll be amazed at the results. Just a little bit every day, just something small every day to make your life better. And by the end of the year, the results should be amazing. So everyone have a great day. Got to go. See you tomorrow. Oh, it's Friday tomorrow. Free for all Friday. So we'll have some fun tomorrow. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for the people who support this channel over the last year, through everything you do, through sharing, through joining us in the chat, through donations, through telling other people about us. It's greatly appreciated, and I want to thank you, and hopefully let's make this year even better. So have a great day. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.